Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, Bridget, say something again.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's not working.
No, I don't know if it's mine. I hear kind of like
Vibrating in your voice.
yes.
Yeah.
That's a great way of explaining it.
It may just be because everyone's microphones are on. So maybe
Okay.
if I mute everyone, because it does say it's on this. We tested it last night. So I don't know if it sounds any
You
better.
sound better now. You actually
Okay.
you sound better now.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm in front of the computer, so hopefully it still works when I stand back. But we did test it last night, like multiple times. So fingers doing my best here with this microphone situation. All right, so I'm gonna just mute people so that I can see if it's working. Obviously, feel free to come off mute and say something if you need to. Okay. So if you guys, anybody wants to grab like blocks or blankets, cushions, anything like that, go ahead. I'm going to scoot back to the mat. And just let me know if the microphone isn't coming in clear. You can just pop off and tell me. And try and fix it again.
It's fine now. I think Bridget was just like in the beginning, maybe.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you, Cindy. All right. I'm just going to support the legs here. Finding your seated position. Allowing those sit bones to ground into the mat. Right and left. Evening out the weight. And just dropping in. Palms resting on the knees or thighs. Hips softening open. Allowing the breath to lift you with that inhale. Lighten the torso. From the low back to the mid back. Upper back. Neck and crown. Settling into that breath. Finding the softness in the belly. The easy come and go of breath. Maybe allowing a gentle smile to the face. Softening. We'll work into a Soham meditation to start. Continuing with your breathing pattern. And we'll add in a mental mantra to the flow of the breath. As we're inhaling, hearing the breath as the sound so. As we are exhaling, hearing the breath as the sound hum. allowing that to become your focal point. And if the mind is drawn away, gently calling it back. So, starting to deepen the breath, working into belly breath, inhaling naturally, and on the exhale, pressing the breath out, scooping in and up in that low belly, emptying of breath, softening on the inhale, allowing the belly to fill up out in front of you, opening in the ribs. Nice full belly breath. Let's gently open the eyes with a soft gaze out front. Can release the hands to the sides, legs out in front of you. And let's give them a wiggle, massage. Bring some loving touch to the body. And we'll work into the ankles while we have the legs out long here. Finding your seat. We'll point and flex the feet. Try and keep a nice tall spine. Heart is lifted. And then we'll go side to side. You can go out and in. You can go both one way, both the other. Just getting some movement and opening, rolling in the hips and knees and ankles. And we'll do some circles, nice and big. Working that joint in opposite way, creating fluidity in there, space, and pausing at center, gently rocking across the heels. And we'll curl the toes up. So pausing in stillness, curl them up, spread them out, and again. One more. And you can wiggle the toes. And we're going to scoop the legs around and under us. So take your time. If you have a pillow or a cushion, you may want to use it because we're going to be sitting on knees. All right, so we'll scoop the legs around. I'm going to roll my blanket a little bit thicker. And again, if you had a cushion, you could use a little pillow or something. All right, and I'm going to put it back between my legs, between the calves, coming up onto the knees. Try and roll grab with your hand, fingers out to the side, and roll the calf out to the side. Same thing on the opposite side. And see if you can sit down in between. Again, you can use a block, pillow cushion, or anything. If this is uncomfortable for you, aside from lifting the position up somehow with some kind of additional prop, you could just come with calves straight under the thighs and bring legs together if it's more comfortable, or just sit cross-legged again. Sitting up nice and tall here, find that center and that breath. Lifting and open in the heart and shoulders. Shoulder blades dropping down the back. And breathe. I'm going to inhale, arms up overhead. Bend the right elbow. Let the hand come behind the back. Grab the right elbow with the left hand. And we'll do a gentle tug. Stretching open in that shoulder, the armpit, tricep. And we'll gently release. You can rock the shoulders. And we'll inhale, arms up. Bend left elbow, hand behind the back. And we'll give a gentle tug again, grabbing onto the elbow. Staying long, but just a gentle little side bending opening in that upper back into the shoulder, armpit, tricep. Breathing into it, finding that softness and strength in the posture. And we'll gently release. Let's roll the shoulders up, back, and down. And then forward. Settling in here. I'm going to bring the blocks. If you have blocks you can use. If not, you can just come onto the floor. But I'll just demo with it. And bring them forward. And what we're going to do is kind of sink down into a child's pose. So you can scoot this. You could keep the blanket in between if it's more comfortable for your seat. But otherwise, scooting calves underneath the thighs. Sinking back. And we'll come into child's pose. And what you can do if you have the blocks, having them shoulder distance apart. Kind of bringing elbows onto the blocks and see if you can sink in here into a child's pose. Maybe bring hands in prayer. Even see if they can kind of come back as you walk the elbows out. Getting an additional tricep stretch there. And same thing if you were on the floor or on the mat in front of you. You can just bring elbows in. Last breath, and we'll release the hands out in front. So keeping the hands shoulder distance, I'm going to come into puppy dog pose by lifting the tail up. So thighs are going to be perpendicular to the mat. And then we'll walk forearms out since we're already down here. You could bring forehead towards the floor if it's comfortable. And you could even bring chin to the floor, looking out front. Just keep that tail up. Last exhale here, And we're going to come up onto the forearms. And we're going to do kind of some mini push-ups. So try and keep your core engaged as we shift forward. Allow the shoulders to come forward, kind of over the hands. And then we'll press up. Let's try for 3. Pressing up. And then let's allow our pelvis to come to the floor, bellies to come to the floor, hands under the shoulders. And we're going to inhale up into a cobra. So take your time, pressing into the hands, keep elbows in at the sides, pressing hip pointers and pubic bone into the floor. We're going to extend in the front body, pressing the tail out back behind you, and pressing up as far as is comfortable. Let's exhale back. Child's pose, walk it back and down. If you want, you can bring hands back down by the sides with palms facing up, wrist by the ankles, or even resting the hands on the low back, grabbing one wrist with the opposite hand. Shoulders away from the ears. Let's use that heart to lift on an inhale. Coming up to sit. You can have hands on either side of the knees. And you may feel like you would like to use block for this as well to help you get up, and that's fine. And we're going to tuck the toes under behind us, and we're going to rock onto the balls of the feet. And then we're actually going to do that a few times. So we're going to come back down and rock it up. Check that the feet are hips distance, maybe adjust to where it feels more stable, and we'll rock it down and up. Coming to balance. And we're going to step the feet out to the side just a touch so that we can work into a squat since we're already down here. If you'd like to use a block for support, you can always do that and put the block right under the sit bones, or putting it up on a higher seat is fine as well. Otherwise, allowing that bum to drop down towards the floor, kind of shimmy your belly in there if you can, in between the legs, bit by bit. And if it's comfortable, you can bring hands to heart. Elbows are gently pressing the legs open. And you can move a little in this if you like. Gentle rock, see how it feels, or maybe it feels good to kind of lean into it in one way and breathe. Nice. So from here, we're going to place the hands kind of in front of that left foot. Step the right, come onto the ball of the left foot and step the right foot out, right leg out long, coming onto the heel, toes pointing up, balancing here. And you can come up on the fingertips. You can work on coming up even eventually and balancing. Feeling that nice opening underneath and inside the thigh. All right, and then we're going to just slide that foot back in, coming back into a squat. Same thing on the opposite side. Hands on either side in front of the foot. Come onto the ball of the foot, and we'll slide the opposite heel out. So you don't have to get all the way out there, but eventually, maybe get it nice and long. Find that balance. If you want to try and go up and maybe you want a little assistance, you could always try with the blocks. Really scooping in, engaging that low belly to keep that balance, the stability. I'll do same thing. We're going to slide the extended leg back in and coming back into a squat. Let's bring hands towards the floor, or again, maybe you're using blocks to help bring the floor to you. And we're going to lift the tail, hang in, forward fold. I'm going to scoot the feet so that the toes point forward. You can still keep the feet wide if you like. Maybe rocking them in a little closer if it's more comfortable for you. And stay tucked in, hanging in here. And we're going to inhale. Just try and lift the belly up and over the thighs gently. Kind of lifting in the ribs so that we can kind of scoop ourselves up and over and sink back in and exhale. Maybe even grabbing the back of the knees, or excuse me, back of the ankles. I gotta get this scarf off. Sorry, guys. Stuck. And if you're grabbing the back of the ankles, just kind of see if you can soften in the shoulders. Allow shoulder blades to walk it down the back towards the tail. And let's gently rock side to side into the hips. Pause at center. Bend into the knees. We're going to bring elbows to the knees. Sinking that tail back gently. Shift the weight back into the heels. Camper pose. Kind of allowing to shift the weight in the back. Strengthen into the legs, into those feet. And we're just going to go to stand. Hands to heart. Squat back down. Elbows to the knees. Standing up. Last one. From hands to heart. Inhale overhead. Gentle arch. Exhale, hands to heart. Then again. Then hands to heart. One more. Holding hands at heart. Long across the collarbones. Finding that breath strong in your mountain pose. Releasing arms to the sides. You guys can do a few shoulder rolls one way and the other. Looks like I keep getting messages. Oh, shoot. Mike's here. Hey, Mike. Sorry. We're standing, so just hop on in. All right, so mountain pose. You've done a little shoulder roll. In fact, let's do a little arm circles. One way and the other. Resting arms to the sides. Lift this up a little. We're going to inhale both arms overhead. Grab the right wrist with the left hand. Inhale, nice and tall. Exhale, gentle side bend. Staying grounded in that right foot. Just breathing some openness along the side, strength into that pelvic girdle. Inhale, coming to center. Exhale, switch the grasp. Soften the shoulders. Inhale, lengthen up through the arms. Strengthen and fold. Staying grounded in the left foot. Inhale up. Reach up tall through the wrists. Exhale, arms out and down. We'll rock the arms in front, crisscrossing opposite ways. Nice. So let's come to mountain pose towards the top of the mat. You can leave yourself a little space if it makes it a little easier for you to plant your hands. Okay. So we'll start mountain pose, grounding in, soft toes, and imagine grounding in on kind of a tripod, center of the heel, and then on the ball of the foot, between the fourth and fifth toe, and on the ball of the foot under the big toe. And just imagine pressing down through those points. It may not seem like it's really possible sometimes to exactly pinpoint, but the more you try, easier it is to fine tune that feeling. Find your breath here, strong legs, kneecaps are lifted, elbows tucked, heart rising up and open, shoulders dropping back and down, long neck, crown is lifted. Find that breath. We're going to on our inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold, hinge at the hips, roll the sit bones behind you, reaching towards the mat. Inhale, flat back, either on the fingertips, in line with the toes, hands to shins, or hands to knees. Look up, gaze towards the horizon. Lengthen in the back and exhale, fold back in, maybe a little deeper. All the way in, all the way up. Inhale up tall. If it's uncomfortable, put arms all the way overhead while coming up from the ground. Just take a rest breath there, and you can always do it after or just go without. Inhale, hands to heart. And again, inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold, hinge at the hips. Reach long for the mat, strong core, engage those bandhas. Inhale, flat back, gazing up. Exhale, fold it back in. Engage the core at the end of the exhale. Engage those bandhas if you're familiar. Inhale all the way up. If you like, hands overhead. And exhale, hands to heart. And again. All the way up. And hands to heart. Moving more into a sun salutation here. We're going to inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, plant the hands shoulder distance and step back long, both feet. Inhale into a high push-up. Shoulders come over the wrists, hips lower down. Strengthen into your plank. Exhale, lower knees, tops of the feet. And you can come on down either in trying to do kind of a partial push-up, elbows in, back, and down as we drop forward and down. Allow pelvis, belly to come to the mat. Again, kind of pressing into that pubic bone, hands under the shoulders, lengthening in the front body, tailbone pressing towards the end of the mat. Allow that openness. Exhale, sink it back, child's pose. Engage that core. Inhale up to all fours. Roll the tail up. Exhale, tuck the toes under, pressing up and back into downward facing dog. Walking into a comfortable down dog for you. Maybe gently pedaling those feet. Pressing the floor away from you with the hands. Working on standing in those feet strong. Legs strengthening, sit bones rolling up. Nice full breath. Exhale completely. Engage in that low belly or engage those bandhas. Look between the hands, come on the balls of the feet, and step up. Bring feet so they're hips distance or exactly together. Inhale, flat back. Lengthen out of the pelvic girdle. Exhale, fold in. And inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. Rounding in here. Find your stance and your breath. Exhale, arms to the sides, ground in. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step back. If you can, when you're stepping back and you're working on planting in the hands, try and keep your gaze out front the whole time. Inhale to plank. Exhale, lower down, either all the way or onto the knees and then low push up. Roll over the toes, pressing up and open. Cobra, or if you want to press into the feet, lift the thighs. Upward facing dog. Rocking back. Inhaling up. Roll the tail. Exhale, pressing up and back in downward dog. Standing in. Find your stance and work the breath there. Gazing out past the knees or towards the navel. Last breath here. Exhale completely. Come onto the balls of the feet. Look between the hands. Step up. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, fold it in. And inhale up. Exhale, hands to heart. Starting position, mountain pose. Arms to the sides. Exhale here, and we'll inhale, arms overhead. And fold. Inhale, look up. Keep the gaze up if you can as you step back. Exhale. Inhale, high push up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, sweep through. Exhale, child's pose. Draw that low belly in. Inhale all fours, roll the tail up. And exhale, down dog. Again, scooping in and up in that low belly at the end of your exhale. If you want to gently rock side to side in the hips, sometimes it feels really nice and can stretch the side out. Pausing at center, exhale there. Come on the balls of the feet. Look up, step up. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Think of those grounding in points in the feet. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. All right. Mountain pose. Just if you might want to have your blocks handy, maybe put them towards the top of the mat. Mountain pose. Rounding in on the exhale, we're going to inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. This time, exhale just the right foot back. Nice and long. Come onto the ball of the foot. I'm going to drop onto the knee. So you can still keep toes tucked under if you like. Front knee is at 90 degrees. And if it's comfortable, we're going to inhale, arms up. And then if you want, you can sink in to that front knee. Just don't allow it to go past the toes. If it starts to, you can just scoot your foot up. And then we're going to bring our left hand to the left hip and gently arch over with the right arm to the left. You can even arch over and back. And exhale, arms to the sides. We're going to bring hands on either side of that left foot up front. Scoot your left foot kind of to center. And we're going to have hands, toes, or fingertips in line with the toes, basically. And allow that left knee to kind of fall behind your left arm. Once it does, you can work your way onto the palms of your hands, and bit by bit allowing that left hip to fall out to the side. If you can, shoulders down the back, heart lifts. Just going as far as feels comfortable. Exhale here. We're going to come on back onto the sole of the foot. And we're going to step that left foot out to the side, just kind of like 1 foot's width, and then turn the toes towards the corner of your mat. Keep your right hand planted. Bring your left hand inside your left knee, left thigh, and you'll get yourself situated so it feels balanced. I have to bring the heel of my hand back by the heel of my foot. And I'm going to extend back through that back leg so it's more comfortable on my knee. And then pressing that left knee towards the corner of the mat. Again, keep that gentle engagement in the low belly. Heart is lifting. Gaze can be up if it's comfortable. Shoulders drawing down the back. And then exhaling back to neutral with the knee. Scoot that foot over. We'll bring one hand on either side. And we're going to roll back onto the heel. And you may need to use blocks for this too. You could always use that to step back. Roll back onto the heel of the left foot as the toes come up. Your thighs should be somewhat perpendicular to the mat. So if you need to extend your stance or kind of scoot back your knee or whatever, go ahead and do that. You can tuck the toes under. I'm going to inhale, lift the heart, and then folding over our extended leg. Gaze can be towards the big toe and then eventually nose to knee. Rest, exhale, slide that left back. Come on into child's pose. Inhaling back up, all fours, roll the tail up, tuck the toes under, press up, open the feet to hips width, downward facing dog. Exhale here, come on the balls of the feet, look between the hands and step up. Inhale to flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart. Mountain pose. Top of the mat. Find that strong standing pose. Still allowing that flow, that movement in the body, a little bit of play. See if you can gently release in an area that might be holding unnecessarily. Exhale here and inhale, arms overhead. And fold. Exhale. Inhale, flat back. Lift the gaze. Exhale, step just the left foot back. Onto the ball of the foot. Slowly lower down onto that left knee. You can choose to either keep the toes tucked under or you can come flat onto the top of the foot. Either way. All right, so bring your hands on either side of the foot. We're going to lunge into that right knee this time. Find your balance in the foot, thigh, back leg. And when you're comfortable, you can bring torso up. If you're having hands on hips, that's fine. If you want to bring arms overhead, feel free. If you untuck the foot and then think, oh, this doesn't feel as stable, you can always try and go back and see if that feels better for you. And then we'll bring, if you're comfortable, right hand to right hip, gentle side bend, back and open over to the right. Stabilizing those hips. That right hip draws back. And exhale, hands down. We'll bring hands to either side of the foot on fingertips. Step that right foot to center. And then again, we're going to allow that right knee to fall behind the right arm. Once you get close enough down in there that you can plant the hands, you can do so. And bit by bit, working onto the side, pinky toe side of the right foot as you allow that right knee to fall to the side, right hip to open. Breathe in here. Woo! Keep that heart lifted. Coming on to the sole of the foot. And we'll keep that left hand planted. Step the right foot out about 1 foot's width to the right, and then turn the toes towards the corner. Maybe align the heel of the hand, heel of the foot. And we're going to press on that inner right thigh and knee, pressing it towards the corner of the mat. Shoulders drop down. Drawing that knee back to 90. Bringing that foot to center. Fingertips on either side of the foot. And again, if you want to use blocks to walk this back, you can, because we're going to come back onto the heel of the right foot as we straighten back through the right leg, draw the toes up. Sometimes it's more comfortable to walk the blocks back like this instead of fingertips. Try and check in the length of your stance so that your left thigh is perpendicular to the mat. On your inhale, lift the heart. Lengthen out over the leg and then gently folding in, belly and chest towards the leg first, gazing to the big toe. And then bit by bit, folding in over the leg. Check in for the centering and stability in the hips. And make it so it's more functional for your body. Inhale, look up. Exhale, we'll slide that heel back. Come on to child's pose again. So legs are kind of hips distance apart. Sinking in, belly and chest towards the legs. You could always bring arm on arm and rest the forehead here. Just to switch it up a little. Maybe even rocking the head side to side. So while we're here, let's bring the arms out long in front of us. Do another little side stretch. So walking the hands over to the right, far as you comfortably can. And then we'll kind of lift the belly up over the thigh and sink back in. Can allow the head to come to the mat if it's comfortable. Allow the neck to soften. And just gaze out behind you. Inhale, look up. And we'll walk across. Nice and slow, all the way to the opposite side. Stretching it open. Kind of lift that belly up and over the thighs gently. Nothing too extreme. And then sink back in. Again, allowing the bum to fall towards the heels. If it's comfortable, your neck and head can kind of hang. And even resting on the mat. Inhale, head up. Coming back to center. We'll lengthen out long through the arms and just take a breath here. Centering spine. Maybe rocking gently side to side. And then let's come up onto all fours. I'm going to bring the blocks for this. If you have blocks, go ahead and bring them up. If not, you can always just stay up kind of on the hands. So we'll actually bring both blocks, if you have some, on the low stack, but stacked on top of each other, and just bring them to the left side. And we're going to step right foot up so that it's in line. The heel is kind of in line with the back of the block, so to speak. And if you don't have blocks, just step the foot up towards the front. All right. We're going to step that back leg back just so we got a nice length in there. And you can bring the blocks kind of close to the foot. And if you're not using blocks, again, you could just bring forearms down right to the mat. And we're going to bring elbows towards the back of the block, forearms resting on the block. Into lizard pose. Gazing out front if it's comfortable. And maybe you're in here and, it's also something you could always tuck the toes under as well in this pose. But maybe you're in here and you were like, oh, okay, maybe I can go a little deeper. And you can take one block out and work your way towards the floor like that. Shoulders relax down, lift through the heart. Exhale, gently engage the core. And we're going to come up onto hands. And again, we're going to try and slide that leg back out and around. You can even kind of lengthen out through the leg and engage the quad, press to the heel, just to kind of get a nice opposite movement. Coming back to all fours and just gently rock. Maybe rolling the hips side to side. Shake your tail. And then we'll bring the blocks on the opposite side if you have them. For lizard, opposite side. All right, so I'm going to step my left foot up. Again, same idea. However you get that foot up there, right? I'm going to lengthen back a little through my back knee. And maybe on this side, I might keep the toes tucked under for comfort. It's a little different on this side. And we want to align the heel and the elbows with the forearms coming straight out. So I'm actually going to scoot this up a tiny bit more. And then I'm going to bring left elbow in line with the back of the block. Right elbow. You can bring prayer hands if it's comfortable. Shoulders dropping down the back. And just allowing for that opening. Making little shifts in the foot and hip to work a little deeper into that movement, that pose. One more breath. Exhale here. And we'll kind of stand up out of the pose. And slide that foot out to the side. And maybe even point. Lengthen back through that leg and engage the quad. And then back to all fours. Coming to sit on the heels again. And you can also, again, bring a blanket. We're going to try the same pose as earlier. And see if it feels any different from the beginning of class. So again, you can use a blanket in between the calves, and it should be about hip distance apart. You're going to have much fingers to side to side and just roll. Calves out to the side. And sit down in between. And you may, make some little adjustments in the where it feels like it's more comfortably hips distance. And maybe you feel like now you don't need the blanket as much, or you can just put it right all the way in the back and work on sitting kind of in between the legs. Sitting up tall here. Hands on the thighs. Tall torso. We're going to inhale, right arm overhead. Bend the elbow, allow the hand to come behind the back. Instead of, you can either do as we did earlier, where you grab the elbow. If you want to go a little deeper, you're going to scoop that left hand behind the back, bend the elbow. Palm faces, that bottom palm faces away from the back. Top hand is facing towards the back. And we work on inching hands together and eventually grabbing fingertips. Cow face posture. Opening in the armpit, chest, softening in the shoulder and that low neck. If you had, a towel or a cloth or something, you could always work on, having it in both hands and climbing the hands towards each other along that as well. Exhale, we'll gently release. Let's do shoulder rolls up, back, and down, and forwards. And let's inhale, arms up. Well, we don't have to do both, but bend the left elbow, and you can either do this stretch where you grab the elbow, or you can scoop right hand behind you, palm facing away from the back. And again, see if you can clasp fingertips first and work your way a little deeper into that pose. Don't forget to sink into that center. Aligning that torso, that front and open. One more inhale. Exhale, release. And again, we'll roll the shoulders one way and the other. Resting hands on the thighs. We'll do a little bit of neck circles. Inhale, tall. Exhale, rolling the head down and around. Opposite way. And coming back to center. You can release the legs out from under you. And scoot the legs around in front, and we're going to bring them out nice and wide. If you have a hard floor underneath you, another option, the Jen, we'll call it. You can bring your blanket and put it under, long ways under the feet, or you could put a little something under each foot, something soft like a towel. Either way, once you get the legs out long, we're going to roll, kind of scoop the thigh under, roll to the front of those sit bones best you can. If you want to have blocks, I should have said that prior, but hopefully you can reach them without getting up. All right. And you could have them in front, shoulder distance apart, kind of under the hands for maneuvering. And on an inhale, we're going to lengthen up tall in the torso. Exhale, strengthen into those legs. Sitting on those sit bones. Inhale, lift the heart. And exhale, we're going to fold it in. And you can work forearms eventually towards the blocks or the floor. You can start on fingertips. You don't have to be there yet. Try and stay long and allow the hinge to come at the hips. We're really rolling those sit bones behind us. That whole torso from the pelvis all the way up to the head, kind of moving in one tilt, shall we say. Separate from the legs. And just sinking in with each inhale, long and open. Each exhale, just softening. Nice big belly breath, gently massaging into those hips. Inhale, slowly coming up. Exhale, hands behind us, fingers pointing towards us. We're going to just do a little heart lift. Exhale back to neutral. I'm going to scoot the blocks out of the way. And we're going to bring feet in to meet each other, bending at the knees, sliding feet in for cobbler's pose. Bottoms of the feet touching. Draw those heels in towards the perineum. If it's comfortable to have hands around the toes, go for it and put one hand on top of the other. If not, just grabbing feet, ankles, and working on sitting up nice and tall, on the top of those sit bones. It's easier to roll back into the back of the sit bones on this. So once you got your grip, I'm going to inhale, lift the heart, draw the heart through the biceps. Exhale, folding in again, tilting as one, separate from the legs, from the pelvis all the way up the torso, back, neck, out through the head, allowing the elbows to come back and down, forearms and elbows gently pressing the legs open as you fold in, outside edges of the feet pressing against each other, so the inside arches of the feet open up, making the feet into like a book. Nice full belly breath, gently massaging into the hip region. Inhale, lifting up to sit. Let's give the feet a gentle massage. In fact, let's extend through our right leg and we'll just massage the left. Get those toes. And we'll switch it up. Massage the right foot. Get that ball of the foot. Toes. Toes are popping today. Nice stretch between the toes. All right. And just extend legs. Give them a gentle rock. Maybe a bounce. And you can massage there. We'll take our time and you guys can come down onto your backs. Laying on the mat. Just gonna bam. All right, cool. Good timing. So once you're down on your back, first of all, just enjoy it. Get comfortable. Sorry, my headset is like sliding off now. The struggle. Okay. Allowing that low back heavy in the mat. In fact, on our inhales, just inhale naturally. Exhale, gently drawing that low belly in towards the spine, pressing the low back into the mat. Inhale. Exhale, press it in. One more. On an inhale, knees up. Exhale, draw them in towards the chest. Give yourself a squeeze. You can hug around the legs. If you can grab hands, you can. Interlacing the fingers. And just squeezing those legs in. A little egg. In fact, you can even tuck the head in if you like and really get a squeeze. And then release. Maybe rock gently side to side, across the low back. And then pausing at center. And then pump the legs. On the exhale, draw the knees in. Inhale, allow the knees to fall away until the arms straighten. Just a gentle pump. Pausing with knees in. And we'll go for happy baby. Bottoms of the feet towards the ceiling, knees bent, and then drawing the knees in and down towards the mat. As you can reach for yoga toe lock on the big toe, or you can grab the outside edge of the foot, drawing that outside edge down towards the mat, and drawing the knees down towards the mat, hips open. You can gently rock in your child's pose. We'll rock into a good position. Exhale, we'll gently release. Feet to the mat, hips distance apart. You can just allow the arms out to the side gently, and we'll slowly rock knees side to side, windshield wiper in your legs. And maybe even bringing arms overhead, long and going side to side a couple times. Get a nice stretch up the front side. And then pause it with knees at center. And you can go into your final rest, which could be, depending on how it feels on your back, maybe you just step the feet out from here with the knees bent and allow the knees to rest on each other at center for active resting pose with arms down at the sides. Arms are about 45-degree angle from the body. Shoulder blades flush in the mat. Maybe your legs are out long. A more traditional corpse pose. Toes flopping out to the side, feet about hips distance apart. And maybe you're in reclining goddess and you bring bottoms of the feet together and allow the knees to fall out to the side as you rest. softening in here and allowing the floor to hold you. So let's slowly start coming back to the room. Feeling the body in the mat as it gently awakens. Bring little movements and stretches in. Take your time, and when you're ready, you can roll to your right side in a fetal position. Pressing up to seated, comfortable cross-legged pose of your choice. If you'd like to get your cushion back or blanket back, get yourself set up. If you want to try and go into half lotus or full lotus to end it out, you can, if it's available for you. And just find your seat there. Heel up in the crease of the hip. If you're doing half lotus, you want to have your kind of bottom foot or arch a little bit supporting your opposite leg. Center in here. And you can either bring hands to heart or interlace the fingers behind the back, resting on the low back. Inhale, lift the heart. And exhale, bowing in, locking in the practice. Inhale up, leading with heart. And exhale, hands to Anjali Mudra, prayer pose, heart center. And I thank you all for practicing this morning. Namaste.
Thank you, Bridget.
You're welcome. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Yeah, everybody have a great weekend. Thank you.
Thanks, Bridge. Thank you.
Welcome.
Stay safe.
Bye, guys. Thanks for
Bye.
coming. There, I can see everybody now. Hey.
Hey, Bridget,
Yes.
I'm still on tomorrow at 1.
Yeah, I thought it was supposed to snow tomorrow, and I didn't know if we'd be able to see the ground.
That's what I was thinking because I walked the dog today. Like a lot of the stuff that's on the grass hasn't melted yet. So if you want to do it, I'm up
Yeah.
for postpone. I do it like Sundays always work for me. So Sunday at that time is fine.
I sent like a message to you and Steven, so I'll write another message in there saying maybe
Oh.
next Monday if you want to.
I have to get. Did you send it on Messenger?
Yeah, I got to get his cell phone number and I'll just text. So it'll be easier.
Yeah, I actually I had a busy day yesterday. I have to respond. I'm glad you responded to on the Slack because I looked at that last night and it was so late. I was like, I'll do it first thing in the morning. I will get it.
The meeting dates.
The
Yeah.
meeting date, the agenda, and it's been crazy with like midterms and other stuff. So I haven't really looked at that after I kind of send everybody like, hey, fill out this chart. So
Yeah.
well, I know you're a busy woman, so let me let you go.
All right. Have a good weekend. And maybe, I don't know, not tomorrow, but Monday or whatever, Wednesday. See ya.